Love, love, until I feel the breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello and welcome to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. Today our guest is Patrick Guest, who is a father of three, a Catholic layperson, a physiotherapist and an author. Welcome to the program.
It's great to be here, Mirella.
Lovely
Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
feeling a bit unworthy, but see how we go.
No, you'll be great. We're going to be discussing Our Lady Queen of Peace's message from Medjugorje from June the 15th, 2018.
Okay.
And then we'll discuss it. Our Lady said on June the 15th, 2018, "Dear children, also today in a special way, I desire to call you to the Eucharist. Let the Mass be the centre of your life. Especially, dear children, let the Eucharist be in your families. The family must attend Holy Mass and worship Jesus. Jesus must be the centre of your lives. Therefore, dear children, renew family prayer and go with Jesus. Thank you, dear children, also today for having responded to my call." So, Patrick, we'll just go through it a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's another message as well we have to read for this month as well. Our Lady said, "Dear children, also today in a special way I desire to call you to the Eucharist. Let the Mass be the centre of your life." Does that bring anything up with you when you hear that?
I've been a Catholic my whole life, but really I think I've only appreciated the Eucharist for maybe 5 years, if I'm honest. And my affection for the Eucharist it's experiential. You know, I've experienced the peace, the presence. I've had mystical encounters with the Eucharist that have just left me in no doubt what she's talking about there. And so even this morning I went to adoration, and it was like 10 years of psychotherapy in 15 minutes. Like I was just sitting there present, and I would urge everyone to get back to receiving bodily and also adoring the Eucharist. It gives me so much. I'm totally in agreement and can resonate with that message. Yeah,
That's beautiful. And then Our Lady said, "Especially, dear children, let the Eucharist be in your families. The family must attend Holy Mass and worship Jesus. Jesus must be the centre of your lives." So it gives us, something to do with our families, like to encourage our families to go to Mass. Even if they don't go to Mass, we can try and just sort of, Our Lady said, the Mass must be the centre of our lives. Let's go to Mass. May not get them all going, but we can try. Jesus must be the centre of your lives. That's beautiful, isn't it? Like just to put the focus there.
The two together, she says, Jesus must be the centre of our lives and the Mass. So Jesus equals the Mass. Why? The Eucharist. He's present, he's real. And it's healing. It contains so much. I think sometimes when we're away from Mass and praying on our own, away from His presence, it can feel like striving or work rather than an act of faith that is just receiving. All you have to do is turn up, really, and God does the rest when it comes to Mass.
And turn up, I guess, with faith as well. Like some people turn up and they don't get anything from Mass, they just think it's boring. So those people that are just saying it's boring, they're not getting what you're getting from the Mass. So what could you say to perhaps them, to help them to receive something from the Mass?
Just remind them of what it is, and maybe even if we sort of go maybe to the Old Testament, one of the greatest miracles in the Old Testament was this manna that was just dropping from heaven, and the Israelites had this miracle that they ended up getting bored with. It's like, I've got this miracle every day and they're just eating it. thinking, oh, I'm bored with this, and it's that familiarity can sort of breed a bit of content. Maybe just to see it with fresh eyes and to realise what you're actually receiving. I know myself. I went decades without appreciating it, and maybe talking about some of the miracles that have happened with the Eucharist that have turned into actual flesh and blood, and that sort of thing can help to create a bit more reverence for what's actually going on.
And can you share at all what actually happened to you? You said you had some mystical experiences with the Eucharist.
Oh, I was going through a period around the period of my conversion. So we were talking about 10 years ago, and I was battling anxiety, and but taking the sacrament was like, it was better than Valium or something that a doctor would prescribe. It would actually give me instant peace. Now that's not the case for everyone, and it certainly isn't the case for me every time, but there are a few experiences like that really spoke to me deeply.
But also, I suppose, if you go in faith, you receive it. It's like if you believe, you will receive, almost like that.
Yeah, it's that as well. And so when I said it's only been about 5 years, that's more on the adoration side. I didn't really get the adoration. And there was a moment in a healing mass where I was on my knees, and I felt this. It was like a heat lamp that was coming past me. It really felt like a heat lamp. Like someone carrying a heat lamp. And I looked across, and there was the priest holding up the Blessed Sacrament, and it was coming straight off, like without me seeing it. I just felt it, and so I think that experience started things with my own adoration, and the Mass itself. It's all building to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the sermon is important, but it really is saying grace before a meal. And that's the meal is receiving.
Wow, I never thought of it like that. That's beautiful report, actually. It's lovely. And then Our Lady said, therefore, dear children, renew family prayer and go with Jesus. Thank you, dear children, also today for having responded to my call. So we need to renew our family prayer, even if it's just us praying by ourselves, pray for the family. And if we can invite the other family members to pray with us, all the better.
For sure. Yeah, it's something we try to do as a family, but it can always get better at that one, that's for sure.
All right, we'll have to go to a break now, Patrick.
Okay.
You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly.
Go till I hear much breath of the Spirit flowing in me. Go till I hear much breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Ridge. If you've just joined us, we're here with Patrick Guest, who is a Catholic layperson, a father of 3, an author, and there was one more thing I've left out.
Physio.
A physiotherapist, that's right. A good physiotherapist. Very enthusiastic about his faith. Very charismatic about his faith.
Oh, we try.
And you're in the charismatic renewal as well, aren't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
It's been great. That's great people there. So from Lanice down, the whole gang are great. So
Yeah,
I love
and
it.
you do a lot of healing prayers over people as well, don't you?
I've certainly received and have been involved in prayer ministry as
something,
well,
yeah.
which is great.
That's beautiful.
Yep, we see it.
I'll read the next message. The next message was also given to Ivan, like the previous one, Ivan Dragigovic, who is one of the visionaries from Medjugorje, and he's given us this message from Mary on the 22nd of June 2018. I'll read it and then we'll go over it. Our Lady said on the 22nd of June 2018, I'll repeat that, praise be Jesus, my dear children. Dear children, also today I'm calling you to peace. Decide for peace. Decide for Jesus. He is your peace. Set out together with him. Be my apostles of peace. Therefore pray. Do not grow tired in prayer. I am praying for all of you, and I am interceding for all of you before my Son. Thank you, dear children, for perseverance, for doing good, and that together with you I'm realizing my plans in my coming here. Go in peace, my dear children. This is such a beautiful message just about peace, like about us just going in peace. Like, you know, it's really about each individual's personal relationship with God, Jesus and Mary. It's really our own journey, but we also pray for others along the way, and we bring others in along the way. We ask others to join us to pray. We ask to, you know, others to come with us to Mass and our families. And what would you like to say?
Oh, the word peace. I suppose growing up, peace was the last thing I wanted. I wanted excitement. I wanted pleasure. I wanted all these experiences, and then I had a battle with anxiety. And I'm sure many viewers are battling, can relate to that, and at least have family members that would be battling this horrible plague. And it's such a plague. It's a humanitarian crisis of anxiety, of chronic busyness. And I just see so many, in my work as a physio, I meet so many people that are battling with anxiety. One of my standard questions is, how have you been sleeping? And the standard answer is very poorly, very poorly. And that just flows on to anxiety, and off you go. So this word peace, it's the antidote to that. And this message here is anti-anxiety.
Yeah.
It really is. That message is what the medical profession are trying to work on, psychology, everything. They're all battling to bring peace into people's lives.
Yeah.
And here is the message here.
It's beautiful. I'll read it one sentence at a time. So, praise be Jesus, my dear children. So she's giving the praise to Jesus before she starts. Yeah. Dear children, also today I'm calling you to peace. Decide for peace. Decide for Jesus. He is your peace. So she's told us in lovely little ways of saying, decide for peace, decide for Jesus, and Jesus is your peace. So the more that we put our hope and our faith in Jesus, the more that we will feel this peace, and we just have to trust. I mean, sometimes in the middle of the throes of all the anxiety, it is hard, but we still have to make that act of will, and then something will calm down later.
Yeah, we don't find peace. Her message here says that we're not finding peace with a technique. You know, I know people that meditate or they go for a run. I see a lot of people, and again in my work, that they're sort of addicted to exercise. So they get this veneer of endorphins that give them short-term peace, but they're really living on sugar donuts there. She's talking about the real peace here. And so it's not with a technique. And another technique is alcohol or drugs. It's a short-term peace as well. It's not a technique, it's a person.
Yeah.
It comes through a person. It comes through Jesus.
And just trusting in him and just praying to him and believing that he's there and he's listening. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Be my apostles. Set out together with him. Be my apostles of peace. So she's already told us to be her apostles of peace. We've got a job, every one of us. Yeah. It's not just for one person or a few people. This is for everybody. Everyone's called to this. So everyone, old, young, medium age, is called.
We are.
Therefore pray, and that's the way to get it as well, through prayer. Therefore pray. Do not grow tired in prayer. I am praying for all of you and am interceding for all of you before my Son. I'm interceding for all of you before my Son. So she said, do not grow tired in prayer. We can't grow tired in prayer.
Yes, so it's there are many Christians that don't have peace.
Yeah.
And so she's saying, persevere. Persevere. That's to those Christians. If you say, well, peace is a person, peace is Jesus. Well, I've got Jesus, might be the answer, and I don't have peace. What's going on? Here Mary is saying, persevere. You'll get there. You will get there.
Thank you, dear children, for perseverance, for doing good, that together with you I am realising my plans in my coming here. Go in peace, my dear children. So she sees the good that people are doing. The ones that are doing good, she sees it and she's thanking them for persevering in it and for doing good and for praying for people. Because it's the quiet road, you know, you're just praying for people sometimes.
She sees you and what you're doing too. How many years have you been doing this for?
Since 96 we've been on Channel 31, but this show since 2003. Yeah.
Great. That's great work. That's
So
a great show.
it's beautiful. And is there anything you want to say about perseverance just before we go to a break? Perseverance in prayer, techniques that we can use to just remind us to pray.
Yeah, look, sometimes I think we can give ourselves a spiritual hernia trying a bit hard. Sometimes adoration.
Adoration, yes.
Eucharistic adoration
Perfect.
is just gazing at him gazing at us.
All
and
right.
there's nothing to do.
Yeah,
but
that's
it.
perfect.
Yeah.
We have to go to a break now.
Okay.
You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly.
Lord, till I feel much breath of the Spirit flowing in me. Lord, till I feel much breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich and our guest is Patrick Guest, who is an author, a father of three, a physiotherapist and a Catholic layperson. And we're talking about Our Lady Queen of Peace's messages from Medjugorje, a little village in Bosnia-Herzegovina, where Our Lady's been appearing since June the 24th, 1981 and still is today with messages to the whole world. Welcome to the program. Back again.
Back again. It's
Yes.
great to be here again.
I'll read the latest message and we'll go through this. This one was the 25th of June 2018 to Ivanka, who gets 1 yearly apparition on this date. And this was 2018. She gets it the 25th of June every year. Little children, pray, pray, pray. That's it. That's the message she got. So pray, pray, pray. And she's really allocated to families, praying for families.
Okay.
And the next message is to Maria Pavlovich Linetti for the whole world. Our Lady said it on the 25th of June 2018. Dear children, this is the day that the Lord gave me to give him thanks for each of you, for those who have converted and have accepted my messages and have set out on the way of conversion and holiness. Rejoice, little children, because God is merciful and loves you all with his immeasurable love and leads you to the way of salvation through my coming here. I love you all and give you my Son, that he may give you peace. Thank you for having responded to my call. So that's beautiful. So we'll start with the first one. Pray, pray, pray. That's pretty self-explanatory.
It is straight and to the point. So many ways to do it, but as long as you're doing it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just keep praying.
the best way to pray is the way you pray best.
Yeah. And then Our Lady said, Dear children, this is the day that the Lord gave me to give him thanks for each of you, for those who have converted and have accepted my messages and have set out on the way of conversion and holiness. So it's like a day of thanks that Our Lady has to thank God for the ones that to thank first of all for all of us, and then for the ones who have converted and the ones who have, lived a life of holiness. So it's powerful.
It is. That word conversion, I didn't know what that meant until I had one.
Yeah.
And Mary was so instrumental in that. I can't tell you how she came in. It was all about Mary. It was about 10 years ago, and I was, any time I would pray, she would be in my mind, and I was having really intimate encounters with Mary. And that probably went for about a month. And then she gracefully, gently faded out, and as she faded out, Jesus came in. It was just, she ushered him in into my life, and it was, I guess now I look back and it was a bit of a textbook conversion, but I didn't know what was happening at the time. Yeah,
That's beautiful.
I didn't know what was happening at the time, and Mary was instrumental, and I'll never never lose devotion to her for that, that alone, but...
Because she doesn't want to be the centre of attention. She wants to draw us to Jesus. She wants us, like she says, worship Jesus, go to the Mass, go to the Eucharist, have the Eucharist. It's all about Jesus. She's just serving him. It's so beautiful.
It is. And
such a good example.
It is. That word conversion gets overused, though. I went past 7-Eleven today, and there's a big poster that says, "Have you converted yet?" And they're talking about their coffee. You know, it's the cheap form of coffee, but they're just using that. You know, it's just that different standards. So we're not talking about the 7-Eleven style of conversion here.
And then Our Lady said, "Rejoice, little children, because God is merciful." I love that line because people feel guilty for all these things, you know, and they don't think there's any way out, and they're huddled in all this guilt, and they don't feel like anyone likes them, or, you know, they have all these problems. But she's saying, rejoice, little children, because God is merciful. Just go to confession. You know, say sorry. Be sorry for what it is. Be sincerely sorry, but also rejoice, because God wants you to say sorry and start again. He's like a dad. He is a dad, like teaching a child to walk. Come on, up again, or ride a bike, or, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Loves us. And that's the next line. And loves you all with his immeasurable love. He wants to love us. He just wants us to come to him and accept his help.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
For some, it's hard.
Yeah.
It really
well, it is, because you can't see him, but it's a spiritual thing, isn't it? It's, you know.
That great poem, The Hound of Heaven. Do you know that
No,
one?
I haven't
Francis
read it, no.
Thompson. Homeless man, opium addict, living on the mean streets of London, asking about suffering. God, if you're so... You know, he was suffering so much, and he's unpacking that idea of how could there be such suffering in a world that's overseen by this loving God. Anyway, there's this line at the end where he says, Is my current gloom, the gloom that I feel, I'm assuming depression, actually the shade underneath your outstretched hands? Not for my harms, because it can almost feel like a harm, a scary thing that God's coming closer. Not for my harms, but so that I can find peace in your arms. So that idea...
Oh my goodness, it made me cry. That's so beautiful.
It's one of the greatest lines ever written, I think, and it comes from a place of real wisdom.
Yeah.
I think he's really lived that. He really has. Halfway through the poem he says, in your mercy do you let us burn until we're like charcoal, and then you pick us up and create your masterpiece.
It's like, I guess he wants us just to call on him.
Yeah.
And the longer we push it, you know, the more things probably go wrong. So just embrace Jesus forsaken in each suffering. Like, I love you, Jesus forsaken, in this pain, in this torment, you know, and just never take our eyes off him. And then we'll find that our day gets better. Something happens, something makes us smile again, or someone will come, or someone will say something to us, or something will pick up if we just stay this close connection with him. And even in the moment, you don't feel like saying you love Jesus forsaken, because you're in the desperation, you're in the sadness, but it's the only way, like that.
Yes.
Exactly,
It's
like
mercy.
that poem too.
Yeah.
We've come to an end. Patrick, can you come back for our next program?
I'd love to. Let's
Lovely.
do it again.
Thank you.
Great.
You've been watching Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich, and our guest was Patrick Guest. I hope you enjoyed the program, and God bless you all and keep you safe, healthy and happy.
Bring it to birth and blow where you will. Blow, blow, blow till I be but breath of the Spirit.